Do you still read scripts?
I do. I still read scripts because I work as a producer. My model's a little bit different. So I left Treasure in 2011. I was just ready for something different. Treasure was a lot to do because Treasure Entertainment, the company I had with Jesse, was a lot because you're running the company as a day-to-day sort of executive, but you're also producing projects. I also had management clients because I was managing. It was a lot to do. And, it took up a lot of my time. And honestly, I wanted something different. I wanted something where I felt like I was being compensated adequately for the amount of time and skill I had accrued to that point. And I said, I think I could just do better on my own. It was just time to move on and try something different. But I also didn't want to continue just chasing money and trying to shop scripts and that sort of thing. And I said, I think I've built up enough skill, enough relationships and resources and experience that I can basically whore myself out as a producer for hire. I tell people I'm a whore. I am a whore. In that, people with a project that's got some funding behind it can come to me and I will look at the script, and I'm going to be a lot less, some people are going to kill me for saying this, but I'm going to be a lot less discerning than I would if it was my money. If I'm looking to buy a script or I have to shop it, I can understand why a lot of producers will pass. If it's not that one in 1,000 script that they've been looking for, they're pass, because they're putting their reputation out there as they're trying to sell it and get it made, and they need to think that they can raise money for it. I don't put that same level of discernment when I read scripts. When I read a script, people are hiring me, so it's they hire me for development services to help them get their script in shape. They can hire me for budgeting services. They can hire me for a business plan, or they can hire me to actually produce the project. Because it's a job for hire, yes, I'll read the script, and as long as it's not a complete piece of garbage, in my opinion. I have had people take scripts to me, pay me to budget, and then say, "Oh, will you produce it?" And I'll say, "No." And they say, "Why not?" I'm like, "I just don't think it's a good script." I'll tell them straight up. This is the East Coast thing we were talking about before.
Right, earlier.
Mm-hmm. I have no problem telling people I think it's horrible. And I had a client that had brought a script to me and had me budget it, and then asked me if I would produce it. And I said, "Oh no, I'm not interested in producing it." And he's like, "Well, what would it need?" And I said, we would need to develop this whole script from scratch. I mean. You have issues with your main characters. They don't have any goals. They don't have any flaws. There's no central conflict. I don't know who your antagonist is. The story's all over the place. It's not shoot ready. Even if you paid me, I just wouldn't be interested in doing it. And he said, "Okay, I'll start over with you. Let's go through the development." And we threw the whole budget out he had just hired me to do, and then he paid me to help develop the script and then do a whole new budget after a year and a half of development on the script. So for me, I tell people, some people say, it's a passion project. I want someone who's passionate. And I say, listen, passion doesn't keep my lights on. Once you've been doing this long enough, you like making a living and earning money doing what you're doing. But if I feel like the project's lacking, but I feel like I can find my passion as we work on it, sometimes I look at it and I say, but this guy, I really like working with him. I see how we can make this project better. And I know this person who's hiring me is open to the creative development process. They're open to hearing out my ideas and letting me, whether it's an executive producer, whether it's a lot of times I get hired by the writer director and they have financing from somewhere, but they don't want to do the day-to-day producing. And so I'll come on as the main producer, or I'll come on as a producer with them. As long as I believe that they're open to the creative process and that I can read that script and go, I can get passionate about this. I can find my passion as we work on it. I don't need to be passionate from the second I read it. Once I sign on the dotted line, you hire me and I'm involved in producing this picture, I'm 110% into the picture. It's not, well, I'm not so sure, you're not passionate about it at first. Once I put my name on the dotted line, that picture has my undivided attention, and I'm gonna make it as great as I can be. As long as I see the potential for it to be great, and the potential for me to be able to put my fingerprints on it and be able to find my passion as we work on it, yeah, I'll sign on to that. I'll sign on to that project as long as I see that potential. So my level of discernment's a little bit different than someone who's having to put up their own money and go out and chase. But it allows me to work on a whole lot of other projects that I might not have otherwise even known about, and also make a living doing it, which is nice when you can make a living doing what you love.
Absolutely. What if all the pieces are there, but the one thing is you sense that one of the decision makers is not real flexible, and you kind of have that gut feeling going in, or maybe there's things that are telltale signs. They're not. It's not an instinct. You can see it. Do you say no? Do you say, well, okay, I can kind of work around this?
That's a great question. because I just had a phone call with a guy who was introduced to me, and I could tell talking to him that we wouldn't have gotten on very well. He comes from outside the film world. You know, to me, he seemed like a guy who thinks he knows more than he does know. And so, I like people who are going to bring me on because I bring a certain skill set and knowledge that they don't have, and that they're going to listen to me. And when it comes to those sort of areas that I know about, they're going to defer to me. And if I don't feel like that's going to be the case, it's probably not the best fit. So even if there's a consortium of people, and even if I feel like even one of them might be problematic, yeah, I'll pass. I mean, life's too short at the end of the day. I still want to work with people that I want to work with. I've been fortunate and blessed enough that 9 times out of 10, the people I'm introduced to are, they're go-getters. They have a creative vision. They're excited about their project, and they're open to that creative process. And I used to say, I just need 3 things from you. I need a script, I need your budget, I need you to get the hell out of my way. And I guess it's a joke, half joking, but it's true, meaning, right. But let me do what I do. Mm-hmm. And so many of the people that hire me, they are writers or directors or executive producers that don't know enough about filmmaking, and that's exactly what they want. They say, I just want to direct. I know the story I want to take, but I need a producer who can come help me realize this vision. And I'll talk to them about it, and I'll say, hey, here's a way I think we can do this, and here's a way I think we can take what you've done and make it even better and elevate the material. Would you be willing to do it? And I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's actually great. I get that sort of feeling from them that in those initial meetings that we'd work great together. And a lot of times they hire me for a service, and I tell them, you can hire me to develop your script, you can hire me to budget it. Does not mean I'm attached to your picture as a producer. But that's a good thing for me because it also, during that phase, allows me to feel them out and see throughout that budgeting phase, throughout that development phase, or the business plan, or whatever we're doing, do I like working with them? Do I like them as much as, it's not just them interviewing me, it's me interviewing them. And usually by the time we're done that process, 9 times out of 10, they're like, if they have the financing together, they're like, I want you to produce this, let's go. And I know by that point as well whether I want to move forward. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, great, let's do it.
So over the course of the years, it sounds like you've honed that, whether it's phrases that you've heard someone say where yes, this is going to be a working relationship, or no, I don't think this is going to work. So is it much faster for you now? You can kind of know right off the bat?
Oh, for sure. For sure, it's much faster now, knowing whether I want to work with certain people. Absolutely. I mean, and part of it is just learning to trust your instincts. I mean, I think when you're starting off, you're so hungry. A lot of times you're willing to ignore red flags. But, as I've gone, like, I'm not desperate for work. I'm not, I can still be somewhat, somewhat discerning if I want. I think, you set your rules, you set your parameters, I'm very clear now with people in the nicest possible way when people come to me like, hey, I have this script and I need to raise money. And I'm like, I don't shop scripts, I don't raise money. Here's what I do. And once you have your equity together, you feel free to talk to me. If you want to bring me on as, for hire, I work for you. So at the end of the day, and they're like, oh, great. And I've had people come back to me and say, hey, I got my, they appreciate you being upfront.
Sure.
But yeah, I've learned to notice red flags quick. And if I see a couple of them, I don't feel uncomfortable walking away.